listening to the Spicy Dividend. All right, welcome into the Spicy Dividend. Happy 4th of July to all my American viewers out there. Pretty much all of you are American. Maybe a small percentage are coming from overseas, maybe in the UK, because I know a lot of you guys say you don't have M1 finance yet. I apologize for that. But nonetheless, happy 4th of July to everyone out there. Like I posted on my Twitter, which is just at Dividend Grinder, I said, very grateful to be in America, which is a practitioner of capitalism, and how grateful we are to have a free, open stock market and the ability to drive wealth if you have the education and the background with you. And of course, a big thanks to all of our military personnel who fought to make this freedom possible. Happy 4th of July. Before we get into everything that I'm saying today, just a reminder, I am not a financial advisor. Any stocks given is not financial advice. Anything that I say is not financial advice. This is strictly for entertainment purposes. Let's get right into it. All right, so this is going to be a very short, spicy dividend podcast just because it is the holiday. I want to spend time with my wife. There's going to be no what irks me today. There's going to be no diamond dividend, no closing statement. Today is going to be all focused on PPC's Ian. PPC's Ian? Yeah, great start. This is going to be a focus on PPC Ian's decision to take some cash away from his dividend-paying stocks and use them towards life expenses. He says bills, life expenses, whatever you want to call it. So it's very interesting because you have this mentality when you're a dividend investor to always reinvest your dividends forever. You have this very long-term sights, and that's a good thing because when you are a dividend investor, it pretty much goes hand in hand. I always say value investing and dividends hand in hand. Well, dividend investing and a long-term mentality always go hand in hand. Now, I personally might be hypocritical the way that I change my portfolio every 5 seconds, but nonetheless, dividend investing is for the long term. So when you have someone like PPC Ian, who has such a great fan base, and he's such a good YouTuber, I couldn't be happier that he's been so successful and grown his audience so fast. When you have someone like him who's only in his late 30s and he's already deciding to take some out, there's many things that come to mind. You first might get a little puzzled saying like you're only in your late 30s and you're already deciding to take some out. You don't know someone's situation. And I think that's what makes PPC Ian a little bit interesting because you know how intelligent he is. You know how well-versed he is in his own portfolio and all of his positions, how meticulous he is with his research. So you know he knows what he's doing. So what makes it a little bit interesting is that you don't know the size of PPC Ian's portfolio. He's a very secure guy, and to be honest, a lot of us financial YouTubers should be more secure. Let me tell you straight up, it's not that smart that I showcase how much my portfolio is worth and my brokerage that I'm using and blah, blah, blah. Ian won't even share his brokerage. And to be fair, nobody really should. It's a security risk, and you're kind of putting your faith out there that your audience is good people and no one's going to take the information the wrong way. So Ian is doing the right thing by not disclosing how much his account's worth. I know trust me, I'm just as curious as everyone else how much dividend income he is bringing in and how high his account portfolio is. Who knows? It could be small. We don't know. It could be small, like 50K. It could be absolutely humongous, over $1 million. If I had to personally take a guess, I would say it's pretty damn high, and that's a big reason why he doesn't disclose. And that kind of brings me into my next point. So he talks a lot about, in this video, I'm surprised. I don't think he's talked about it too much in prior videos. He's touched on it, but he hasn't gone into too much detail about it. And what I'm talking about is his decision to do an individual taxable account versus a Roth IRA account. Now, look, let's take all the stipulation that I have against Roth IRAs and like how I did a video and it got a lot of backlash for why I do an individual taxable versus a Roth. I ended up making that video private just because I was sick of all the drama that came with it. Here's the bottom line. a Roth IRA is probably the best thing that you can do, especially if you're lower income and you're just learning how to do the market and you want a long-term mentality. There's not much better than a Roth IRA, okay? Growing your dividends tax-free, there's really not much to argue about it. So PPC Ian brought up like 4 times during his video, why he's doing individual. And it basically boiled down to he likes the flexibility and he likes taking the dividends whenever he wants to. And so I think the mentality was, he doesn't want to pool contributions. Like if he did have a Roth IRA, he doesn't want to pool contributions. He just wants to pool dividend cash flow. Now, there are ways around it where you could take your contribution and then whatever dividend you get, put it right back into your Roth, and it's essentially a wash and you get the same money anyway. But since I firmly believe, and you'll never hear him say this, but I firmly believe that his adjusted gross income, and I believe he is married, so his married filing jointly adjusted gross income is probably greater than the income threshold to actually fund a Roth IRA. Because if you make, I believe in last year, I don't know if the rule still stands for 2019, but if you're married filing jointly, your adjusted gross income cannot be greater than, I believe it was around $190,000. Now, he's a very successful person, and he's living in the Bay Area. And let's stress that even more, because you don't even necessarily have to be that successful to make a lot of money in the Bay Area. It is an extremely expensive place to live. And even if you have a decent job, okay, like an average job, say you take my job as a financial analyst. If you have a financial analyst position that's, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years, maybe you're a senior financial analyst and you are working in the Bay Area for a company that's headquartered in the Bay Area, you're going to bring home a lot of money. Probably like 2 to 3 times what I'm making here in my lovely little home in the middle of Bumblefuck, Pennsylvania. But that being said, when you have I believe PPC has a really good job, and when you're in San Francisco, since everything's inflated, I highly doubt that he's making under that threshold. So I don't even know if it's feasible for him to contribute to a Roth IRA, because it just might not be possible. Now, there are back doorways that you can get a Roth IRA even if you're past the income threshold. It's something like you have to like transfer your 401k into one, and there's nothing that says you can't do that. But nonetheless, I think he just wants the flexibility. He does not mind that it's taxable, and he'll never come out and say like, look, like I flat out make too much to contribute to a Roth. And if I'm being perfectly honest, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very close to that threshold with my wife now that I'm married. I'm very close to that threshold. Individually, I'm not even close. Married, we're starting to creep towards it. And I could see us, if our careers progress as they are right now, I could see us in 2 years not even being able to contribute to a Roth. So let's just clear the air right now. So dividend grinder, I am simply stating a Roth IRA is absolutely the best thing you can do if you want long-term growth. For high income earners, it's really not even a possibility, okay? Let's just get that out of the way. But if you have the ability to contribute, there is literally no reason to contribute. I should have been doing it all these years. I say all these years like I've been investing forever. I've only been like seriously investing since last year in February. But that being said, I should have been doing it. It's the more wise thing to do. I think for me personally, I honestly just don't care about taxes, okay? But I'm not the wisest of investors. I am very quirky with my investments, okay? I think everyone understands that, and that's why I have a fan base at all, is because I do things a little differently. I'm not your typical, just put it in blue chip stocks and let it sit forever. I'm not that type of guy. But nonetheless, Roth IRA is fantastic. Don't act like I would never recommend it or anything. Just because I don't personally have one does not make it correct to not have one. I firmly believe a Roth IRA is amazing. With that all out of the way, let's get back into PPC. And excuse me, I'm going to take a drink of water. I'm not going to edit this clip at all. All right. So first of all, can we just say that This is kind of what you want when you're a dividend investor, right? Your whole dream of investing into dividend stocks is because you want the dividend cash flow to pay for something. It doesn't necessarily have to be your bills. It could pay for luxuries down, like if you want to take a lot of vacations in the future, your dividend cash flow could pay for vacations. I know PPC Ian said that he was considering making a Hawaii dividend fund where he would just place something. He was even contemplating M1 Finance, but place it in a brokerage where he just uses the cash flow strictly for his Hawaii vacations. You can do whatever you want with cash flows, whatever your aspirations. When you're a dividend investor and strictly a dividend investor, that's kind of the point of it, right? You want to use your cash flow. So I don't care what age he is. He just happens to be in his late 30s. When you're finally able to come to the point where your dividend cash flow is substantial enough to help alleviate a lot of your life expenses, that's something that needs to be applauded. You finally reached a point in your life. Look, there's a reason my name is Dividend Grinder. It's because it's not easy. Let's be honest. You need to contribute a lot of capital to make dividend investing really work. And, some people are fortunate enough where they can do, where they can do large sums of money right up front. And then maybe they don't have to worry about it as much. They have beneficiary interest where they can just dump a lump sum that's high enough, maybe something like $100K, where it can just reinvest into itself and snowball off of itself, off of its own lump sum principle. But for the large majority of us, it's a grind, okay? Let's be honest. There's so many accounts out there now that are starting into investing, and, I see their account values all the time on Instagram because maybe I set a bad example by showing my entire portfolio. Maybe me and Dr. Dividend should kind of cool it off a little bit. But that being said, there's a lot of people out there and they have accounts ranging anywhere from $100 to like $5,000 on Robinhood or on M1 Finance. Very small amounts, you know what I mean? It's not life-changing amounts. And you're going to find out real quickly that those accounts are either going to flame out really fast because they're going to realize that, look, you got to put a lot of work. Like, you're not going to be able to snowball anything off of 3 cents of dividends if you have a $100 account. I've been there. My account was $350. Yeah, it's great. I had a daily dividend portfolio that paid me like a penny a day. It's not going to do anything, is what I'm trying to get at. So you're going to see either accounts just phase out, they lose interest real quick in dividend investing, or you're going to see something miraculous happen. If you follow me, if you follow a bunch of other accounts on Instagram, you're going to see it wildly grow. And it's just amazing because take it as inspiration. You want people to succeed, right? So that's kind of it's kind of an interesting point with dividend investing, right? Because you want your account to grow as high as you can, right? That's the whole point of investing into the stock market. That being said, other people have the same goals. And what's honestly cool about dividend investing is that when you have a community, everyone's trying to do the same thing and everyone can root for each other. Now, you might not agree with someone's holdings. I like watching I'm a new guy to Jake Jones investing. Not a huge fan of his channel, but I watched the whole Jake Jones video on him critiquing Bruce Wang's portfolio and PSEC and AGNC. We all know how crap holdings those are. But I mean, so you might not agree with everyone's holdings, but we all want the same thing. So we're all pulling for each other because it's not like what one person does investing wise hurts what another person does. No one's shorting these dividend stocks, in the community that it's like, oh, I hope that stock tanks. Look, everyone makes mistakes and they're going to invest in really bad holdings. I've done it. I'm still doing it. I finally come to a point where I think my portfolio is very solid. There might be a few tweaks here and there, but right now I'm very happy with my portfolio. But it took an honest to God year and a half to get my portfolio to a portfolio where I get high income, but there's no garbage holdings. And everyone's subjective opinion of a garbage holding is different. I would obviously say PSEC and AGNC are pure garbage holdings. And to some people, they might, even after doing all the research and looking at the stock charts, they might say you know what? I don't mind it. Like it works for what my goals are, and that's fine. I would never wish ill will against a person if they have holdings that I don't agree with, because it doesn't, you're just spouting an era of negativity, and all you're going to do is turn people off. Because if they have like a really small account, like a $500 account, and they're investing in these things, let them learn. You can help them by giving them a little bit of advice, but don't push them to the point where they're discouraged from dividend investing at all, because dividend investing, for all those in the niche, know how powerful it can be. I'm learning it very quick. I just hit $1,000 of earned dividends from my M1 Finance portfolio, and it's such an amazing feeling. But at the same time, guys, I had to grind my way from $350 to $30,000 just to achieve that. It's a grind. We want to build everyone's confidence up and say, look, it is a hard road to get there, but you can do it. Anyone can do it. Just look at Dividend Grinder. Look how he's doing it from such a small account. You just have to go for it. You have to be aggressive. You have to do the research, and you have to really have confidence in yourself. Tell yourself that you are just going to constantly fund the account, believe in your account, believe in yourself, believe in your guidelines that you have for your investing account, and everything will work for the better. People, although they give you a lot of grief, and for whatever reason, my last cash flow challenge video got a lot of dislikes. I don't know why. I don't know why I have haters like nowadays, because I pretty much do whatever I want. I'm not like spewing out too much controversial stuff. But that being said, people in the back of their mind do want the best for other people. And there are plenty of accounts way larger than mine, and there's plenty of accounts way smaller than mine. You gotta cheer both of them. So let me give a shout out to, I believe his YouTube name is Matt Money, because he has a very large account, a very large dividend account. And I always see him constantly. He's on my channel. He's on a lot of other channels that have way smaller portfolios than them, and he cheers them on. That's the perfect person for the dividend community. It doesn't matter what your account value is out. You have to cheer on everyone. Get them in the mentality. So now that we went off on that little tangent, let's go back to PPC, Ian. So let's just give a big congratulations. Like seriously, this is what you want to do with your life. You want to take some of the cash flow, let it pay off some of the expenses. Now, I know a lot of you, including me, don't have the probably nearly as much living expenses as he does, since he lives in San Francisco. So I could almost guarantee that his like 27% that he's taking out, I believe it's 27, correct me if I'm wrong there. It was either 17 or 27. I know it ended in a 7. But that percentage that he's taking out as cash flow could probably cover all of my living expenses right now in my little dink home in Pennsylvania. It could probably pay everything. But everyone has different stages in their life. You can't critique someone for doing something. So it's inspiring to me. And I think, okay, now I'm getting there, Scott. I'm getting there. So the whole point I kind of want to make in this podcast is that you don't know what life is going to throw at you. And I know that's kind of his reasoning for investing in an individual taxable versus a Roth, but let's throw that all the way at the side. The whole reason you invest in the cash flow is because it can cover expenses. And, I don't think he was foreseeing having kids as expensive as they were and still trying to maintain living in the Bay Area. And it's very stressful for him. He works very long hours. A lot of us just work very long hours. A lot of us are just flat out grinders, right? And it doesn't hurt at all to have a little bit of supplemental income, because let's be real, money is the number one cause of stress. But let's not be real. I mean, yeah, if you have certain medical issues and whatnot, yeah, that's a whole different story. But for common folk who don't have any medical issues or family issues, money is the number one stress factor. And when you can have some alleviation from money, then your stress levels just go down and you just feel much better about your life. So what I'm trying to say is, you don't know what's going to happen in your life. So yeah, my end goals right now, they're changing like every single week, to be honest. So for the longest time when I first started, it was, I'm going to retire early, live that fire life, even though I hate saying that. But retire early, use your cash flow to pay off your life expenses. That was the end goal. And then a new goal arose where I want to get my portfolio to around $800,000. I want to use $500,000, build the house of my dreams with my wife, and then take the $300,000, try and build it up a little bit, but then eventually just live off of the dividends from that $300,000 account, help pay for the mortgage if I have any remaining after the $500K for the house, pay off the mortgage and pay off life expenses, and then just live life from there. And then everything changes because I think in the back of my head after watching PPC Ian's portfolio, and I think to myself, you know what, Scott, like if your dividend cash flows, honestly, if you made $1,000 a month, which would easily pay off my half of the mortgage and all of my personal bills, would you be so opposed to just stopping there and then just living your life with no expenses because you know it's being paid off by dividend cash flow? I think that to myself a lot now, and it's been bugging me. I was thinking about all before going to sleep last night, and then when I woke up, I'm like, will I honestly try to make my portfolio huge, or will I just get to a goal of about $1,000 a month, even $500 a month, because that would pay off almost my half of the mortgage. And at that point, would I just be like, you know what, I'm happy. Like I built up, I have $500 a month coming in, and you know, is that really such a bad thing to be taking it right now? Because I'm hoping to get $500 a month before age 40. And at 28 years old right now, I'm already at $140 a month, and it's only going to snowball from there with how aggressive I'm funding. But guess what? I'm most likely going to have kids in the future, and I don't know how expensive they are. Clearly, they are expensive. Everyone tells me how expensive they are, but I personally don't see it coming out of my pocketbook quite yet. So who knows how quickly I'll be tapping into the dividends. I don't know. Or maybe I will hold them to long term. Maybe I will build it to $800K and then build a dream home. Maybe I will retire early. The point is, you don't exactly know what's going to happen. But nothing bad can happen, I think, is the point of all of this. I'm trying to say is that when you invest into a dividend portfolio, are these options really a bad thing? It's such a great problem to have. Will I tap into my cash flow now or later? You know, some people probably even have lighter mentalities than me, where I make like I average $140 a month from dividend income right now. Some people might be happy with that. And they say like, look, that pays off my cell phone and it pays off my gym membership, and I'm happy with that. And that's all I wanted out of it. And you know, everyone has different goals and aspirations. But what I'm saying is, it's a good problem to have. Will I take it now? Will I take it later? So I congratulate PPC Ian on finally accomplishing something that he's been grinding on for a long time. All those long hours, it's finally rewarding. It's finally paying him off. His dividend portfolio is finally giving him some comfort in the financial field. Couldn't be happier for him. That's the goal for everyone. Just remember, if you're going to take away one thing from this podcast episode, be positive towards everyone who's dividend investing. It doesn't matter if you think their portfolio is complete crap. Be a positive influence for everyone. It's a grind, everyone. Dividend investing is a grind. There's no other way to put it. It is not luxurious. It is not fun. It is not comfortable. It is a flat out grind. And if you don't get the constant encouragement, then seriously, it becomes more of a burden than it does a lifelong dream hitter. And I'm so thankful for everyone that keeps encouraging me. You know, I'm glad my name is Dividend Grinder because I always get a keep grinding, and you know, you're doing something right because you got haters and blah, blah, blah. And it's so inspiring, and a lot of people need to hear it, because if they're just starting out, they're going to get discouraged on how little dividend income they're getting and how much they have to put in. Just give them a reminder like, look, it's tough, but we're here for you. We as a community have your back. Let's build together and let's make something amazing happen for everyone. So this has been the Dividend Grinder for the spicy dividend. Not too spicy today, a little mild pepper action for you, but I hope it was inspirational. Congratulations to PPC Ian on finally accomplishing getting his life expenses, at least some of them, covered from his dividend cash flow. That's what we're all here for, to get that dividend cash flow together. Hope you enjoyed this episode. See you guys and gals in the next one.